Hey guys, well, welcome to Connect Group. I'm so glad that you made the decision to continue to get connected to God, His people, and His purpose for your life. Just a quick couple of announcements I wanted to make you aware of what's going on. Here at church, we did just start another round of Discover class, and so if you want to be a part of Discovery, finding out a little bit more about how to get connected to God, people, and purpose, and what church is about, and how to become a partner here, it meets 9:30 over the next couple of weeks at the Cherry Hill campus. And also, I just know we just gave out our Global Mission Initiative impact for 2011. Can I encourage you, take those, pray over those, and that'll just give you even more incentive when we're taking offering in Connect Group to be able to give and give with purpose and faith. And don't just give. Be faith-filled giver when you give to make a difference. Well, we've been talking about this series called Why? Why? And today I just want to talk just a little bit about why should I care about things outside of my life? Why should I care about others? Why should I be concerned with situations or people in my world around us? Why should I care? And there's a great story in Luke chapter 10, starting verse 25, about the person who is hurt by the side of the road. And we know that there's a man who's going from Jericho, from Jerusalem to Jericho, and there's this moment where he's beset by robbers, and he gets beaten up, and he's left by the side of the road. And the Bible says a priest comes walking by, and he doesn't do anything. And a Levite, a lay person who is supposed to serve in the house of God, he walks by and doesn't do anything. And then a Samaritan, someone who no one thought could be saved, or no one even thought had a relationship with God, or they were the outsiders, kind of the wretched people of the society. And he comes walking by, and he sees and takes compassion. And we know he picks the man up, puts him on his donkey, takes care of his wounds, takes him to an inn, pays for his stay there. And it's just an amazing moment of compassion. And Jesus says, now go and do likewise. Go and do likewise. And that's actually what I think our lives should be about. And I think we probably always know that we should care about things, but I think if we're honest with ourselves, we don't always care about things. And maybe that's the question today. Why don't I care? And I think there's maybe many reasons, but here are just a couple that probably affect all of us at different levels in our life, and maybe at different times in our life. I think sometimes we don't care because we are too distracted by our own self-concerns. There's things inside of us that seem too big. Sometimes we prioritize how we're going to enact and engage in the world around us by starting looking inside. What are my needs internally? And then we go outside through concentric kind of circles, my family, my friends, my community. And we kind of, by the time we get outside of ourselves most of the times, it's so difficult because the truth is many times we look at our own problems as bigger maybe than what they are. And we see our capacity being filled up by our own concerns. And part of the struggle with that is that whatever we focus on, we give power to. So when we're focusing on just our problems, we turn anthills into mountains. And there are some times that there are mountains in our life, but many times we're giving way too much attention and focus to those things, and it seems to fill up our capacity so we can't do something. But that's where faith comes in. That's where faith is. Faith is the moment where we can't, but God can. And they're the moments where we say, hey, God, I don't really know if I can respond, but, I'm going to give you a go. I'm going to ask you to move on my heart. I'm going to ask you to help me with just live a little bit more, have a little bit more patience, have a little bit more grace, just have a little bit more mercy than I thought I could have right now in this moment so that I could impact someone else. And I think the more that we do that, the larger our capacity grows, and not be able to talk ourselves out of it just by being focused on ourselves. Philippians 2 tells us that we should have, don't do anything out of vain conceit or selfish ambition, but consider the needs of others before our own. I think that's what we need to make sure that we're doing. I think sometimes we don't care because of those reasons. I think sometimes we don't care simply because we don't perceive any value, that our life is going to have any value in it. Basically, so often we ask the question, what am I going to do? What do I get out of it? What's in it for me? We have this risk-reward mentality in our life. What's in it for me? And if we don't think that someone's going to pat us on the back, or we don't think someone's going to see us do it, or we don't think we're going to get any viable reward out of it, many times we just don't engage. But that's where we miss it. See, can I tell you, my friends, every time we give, whether it be little, great or small, we actually are giving into God, into God's kingdom, and there's a return. There's always a return anytime you give. Give and it shall be given back. And the Bible tells me in Proverbs 19:17, when I give to the poor, I lend to God, and God will reward those who give. See, there's this moment where God will reward. It may not always be what we want or in the way that we want it or in the timing that we want it, but can I tell you, no opportunity that you give into is a lost opportunity. Sometimes we don't give and we don't care because we just feel that it's outside of our comfort zone. You know, the truth is we're not sure that we feel comfortable with being with those kind of people or being around that issue. And so we actually don't believe that we allow our discomfort to keep us from engaging. And we've bought into this belief system that if I can stay comfortable, then I'll be safe from pain or from challenge or from any opportunity from hurt. But our goal in life shouldn't just to be comfortable. Our goal in life should become people of faith, and faith requires challenge. And so true peace is not found in the absence of a challenge. It's found in the presence of living out God's purpose in your life. And so sometimes we got to get out of our comfort zone to be uncomfortable. Jesus was uncomfortable on the cross for my benefit. And sometimes I think if we're honest with ourselves, we don't engage because the problem seems too big for me to handle. And we're already defeated. We look at circumstance, we go, man, I can't handle that. It's too big of a problem for me. I can't make a difference in, those 28 million sex slaves or those thousands of people living on the streets, or I don't know how to heal that sick child. And so because we believe we can't do everything, we don't do anything. Because we bought into the belief system that the only way that we can have victory is if we conquer the whole problem, instead of understanding that victory comes by blessing the individual person. Jesus didn't get rid of blindness. He simply cured the blind person. Jesus didn't eradicate sickness. He just cured the sick people. He didn't feed everyone. He just fed the people that were there that day. So the truth is that it's not us doing everything. It's us doing something. Finding a hurt and healing it, finding a need and filling it, getting into someone else's world and transforming it. So there are times in our life we talk ourselves out of it. But why should I care? Let me give you this just very quickly. Why should I care? One, because people matter. People matter. People are made in the image of God. People are why God created the world. It's why he built the ark. It's why he sent the prophets. It's why he built the church. It's why he sent Jesus to the cross. It's why there's an empty tomb. Why? Because people matter. John 3:16, for God loved people, so he gave. People matter. And the truth is that people should matter to us because they are made in the image of God. And every time we get to care and love on them, a little bit more of that brokenness in them gets reconnected to the God who created them. People matter. That's why we should care. Also, we should care because a compassionate life leads to a bigger life. A compassionate life, but it leads us to a bigger world. Proverbs 11:24 says, the life of the generous gets larger and larger. The life of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. You know, when we give into people's lives, our life gets bigger. Our capacity gets bigger. Our faith gets bigger when we give into people's lives. So it's a key to a bigger world is actually to give compassion into someone else's life. We need it. We should care because someone else's future is dependent on us giving. Futures are changed because we give. Do you realize that you and I have this opportunity to really make a difference in someone else's future and eternity and our community and our schools and our marketplace, even in our generation, just by giving? How much different would this man's journey have been if someone would have cared ahead of time about the robbers who were there and went out to them and blessed them and tried to make a safe place for someone to be able to journey? Instead of always responding to someone's hurt, we do it ahead of time. And that's basically it, just finding a hurt and healing it, finding a need and filling it, and getting into someone else's world and transforming it. And finally, why should I care? Because when you absolutely share compassion with others, you are connected to the Creator and your created purpose. I don't believe we're ever more connected to God, never more connected to who he is than when we love him by loving him and loving the people that he's loving at that time. Just loving him and loving him while he's loving people. And that's actually what it's all about. Jesus said in Matthew 25:40, when you do these things to the least of people, you do it to me. When I love people, I live out my created purpose and I live with my Creator in doing what I've been designed to do, which is change this world. My friends, why should we care? Because caring changes our lives. It changes other lives, and it can change the eternities of people around us and people we don't even know yet. So keep caring and loving people, and I'll see you here next week at Connect.